was not about property taxes, but to redraw the Texas congressional districts. Why? Because Donald Trump told him to, because Donald Trump is his daddy. They want to pick up anywhere from 4 to 5 seats for the next year's midterm because they're scared to death they're going to actually lose the House. Now, the reality is Texas has it's majority-proof Republican. They control it, all right? Bottom line is they got the votes. Democrats can't do anything about it, but they're going to do all they can. Now, Abbott is now lying. He claims it's about constitutional concerns. That's literally what he said. Now, State Senator Boris Miles, one of 2 black state senators in Texas, my alpha brother, he, of course, spoke about this, and he called it simply congressional redlining.
The last wrap-up question, it's been asked multiple times, and as my colleague emotionally just said, we still don't know, you still have no idea to why we're doing this, with the exception of this letter coming from the DOJ. Is that correct?
Well, I know the reason we are here today is because the governor put redistricting, congressional redistricting, on the call.
On the call. And that's why we're here, correct? Because we got it on the call, and it came from this letter, resulted from this letter from the DOJ.
That's the purpose, that's the reason we are laying out this resolution today.
Okay. I think we're saying the same thing.
I'm sorry?
I think we're saying the same thing, Senator, as a result of this letter from the DOJ.
Well, I can't speak for the governor, and I haven't talked to the governor.
Okay.
What I do know is that we have a duty to take up all the issues on the call, to consider all those issues, and to do that, if we're going to stick with the tradition of the Senate, then we would need to pass a resolution like this as step 1.
Okay. And this is step 1. Senator, let me ask you a question. Do you have any idea, were you aware that on this letter from the DOJ that there are 4 congressional districts listed?
I have read the letter.
Were you aware that one of those districts is wholly in my district, Senate District 13? The second one is partly majority in my district, and the third has I have a slight part of that one in Senate District 13. Were you aware of that?
I think you mentioned all that when we talked on the phone Saturday.
Yeah. I want to know if the body knew. I'm trying to make sure they understand as well. So I'm going to repeat that. There are 4 districts that's mentioned here in this DOJ letter. 3 of them are partly or wholly in my district, Senate District 13. Do you think it's coincidental that Senate District 13, for which 3 of these districts are in congressional districts in, and that I sit in, do you think it's coincidental that it is the only majority African-American district in the whole state of Texas?
Again, I don't have any personal knowledge of any of the facts behind the DOJ letter. All I can tell you is that I have read it, and that I then read the response by the Attorney General's office to that letter, and that's really all I know.
And I know, and all my colleagues know, that you're a thinking man. You're a very intelligent thinking man. And my question is simple. Do you just think it's a coincidence that 3 of these districts that are mentioned on this DOJ letter are in my district, the only African-American majority district in the state of Texas?
Again, and I speak in all honesty, I have zero knowledge of any data, any facts, anything that the DOJ relied upon to draft their letter to the governor and to the Attorney General.
Well, if I could, let me tell you, I don't think it's a coincidence. Okay, and I just want to put that on you and my colleagues' minds, that I don't think it's a coincidence, and my colleagues, my former Democratic colleagues, don't think it's a coincidence, and I can assure you, my people back home don't think it's a coincidence.
Okay, so you're proceeding forward with redrawing the lines, but you don't have any of the information and the data to back up what you're saying. So now I'm confused. Are you that stupid I mean, you saw Senator Miles say you're an intelligent man. No, they're not. They're doing the bidding of a white supremacist. Y'all, a blind person can see. You were specifically targeting the 3 African Americans who are in Congress from Texas. Well, the 3 Democratic African Americans, because you're cool with the help Wesley Hunt. But he don't have many black people in his district. So you're targeting Jasmine Crockett of Dallas, Mark Vesey of Arlington, Texas. You're targeting Al Green. I'm sorry, 4. You're targeting the seat that's vacant where the late Representative Sylvester Turner, the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee had that particular seat. And then you're targeting Sylvia Garcia. Now understand, y'all, Sylvia Garcia is the rep for the neighborhood where I grew up in, Clinton Park in Houston. So there's significant black and Latino population in that congressional district. So what justification does Abbott have? He doesn't. I mean, it's a naked partisan grab. I mean, they're trying to simply grab these seats and they want to shut down black and brown people. Now, we all know Trump, he hates Jasmine Crockett because she'd be lighting his ass up. So that's what he wants to do. And so these white nationalists, that's what they're doing. And so if that Republican had any integrity, honor, decency, morals, values, he would have said, this is a naked partisan attempt. And see, here's my whole deal. Just go ahead and say that. Just go ahead and say what it is. I don't have any respect for you. I have a little bit more respect for you if you just go ahead and just be honest about what the hell you're really trying to do. They don't want to see black and Latino representation in Congress. They don't want to see it. Period. They don't want to see it. My panel, Dr. Noel Haynes, Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, out of Washington, D.C., Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University, out of D.C., and are we being joined? Okay, we'll be joined later by Robert Patillo, civil rights attorney, out of Atlanta. I mean, Greg, this is real clear. I mean, this ain't even a debate. We know what they're trying to do. And as I keep saying on this show, Democrats need to have the absolute courage to say, okay, do what y'all want to do in Texas. First of all, you're going to get sued. Okay, so you're going to get sued. Let's be real clear. They lost the Section 2 case in Louisiana. They lost the Section 2 case in Alabama. So even with this hard right Supreme Court, Section 2 hanging by a thread, they've lost that. I don't know what argument they can make where it's not an effort to disenfranchise black and Latino voters, but this is where Democrats in California, Illinois, New York State must respond by saying, okay, y'all redraw the lines. I'm telling you, we about to wipe Republican districts out in states we control. That's how you have to respond to these thugs.
Roland, first of all, I will never tire of saying why this network is indispensable to the moment we face in American history. Because this is a conversation you won't see anywhere else. You might see some allusion to some of it. What I'm about to say, I think, wouldn't find the air anywhere else. And what you are saying certainly wouldn't. I share your sentiment in my heart. I share your sentiment in my mind. And I'm crystal clear, I think, to the fact that that is the nuclear option for the federal entity called United States of America. Not only am I not against it, I personally would love it. Gavin Newsom has begun to gesture that way, but he wants to be president of the United States. If and when that happens, when California, New York, and other states, Maryland, decide we're going to redraw the lines and erase any advantage you might think you have in the Confederacy, then that clears the way for the dissolution of the United States of America. It renders the federal apparatus greatly weakened, because the next step then becomes, what is our strategy for withholding tax dollars so that these starving these welfare states like Mississippi and Louisiana, where most of our people live, no longer receive federal money? I mean, you've blown it up. Now, on the other side, I think that's where our brother Senator Miles was going when he challenged the deeply cowardly Senator King there, who was holding his microphone like the toy, the protecting thing to kind of protect his courage, of which he has very little. He was laying the ground for exactly the legal challenge that you said. And when he said he has no prior knowledge, first of all, he was lying. But even if he wasn't, he's prevaricating, because what he's basically saying is, I wasn't in the room when they made this scheme up. Although I know damn well what they're trying to do, I'm answering very specifically the question you asked. But here's the thing, finally, and I'm sure you saw the Politico article that came out, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. There's a recent poll that came out of Texas. And when polled, 63% of the people polled in the state of Texas said Republicans are playing politics, that they've called a special session under the guise of dealing with relief from the floods, and now are using it for redistricting. And as a result, 53% of the likely voters said in that poll that the legislature was prioritizing redistricting over flood relief, and 62% of the voters said they were less likely to vote for a Republican, which brings me to what you just said at the end there. The only thing left that will prevent the nuclear option to blow up the federal apparatus would be now to do exactly what you said, invade those quote unquote red states, the red districts, those gerrymandered districts, and force those people into the crisis of courage that will extract enough of them out of their stupor to add with the organized voters who are always going to vote for the people we want in office, and destroy the redistricted districts. That will be the way to do it. The only other option is do what you said, and once you do that, there's no reverse button on the United States. At that point, it's over, brother. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at these idiots. I mean, this is the actual letter that was sent to the governor and the attorney general from that absolute travesty of an individual who heads the civil rights division of the Department of Justice.